Hi, I'm Derek Simpson, Executive Director of Long Beach Community Action Partnership. And though I'm on PadNet TV for many different occasions, I can't think of one that's any more important to me than the opportunity to talk with young men from our Men Making a Change program. And these two young men are special because they exemplify what we hope that Men Making a Change is all about. And joining me for this particular conversation are Denzel Harris to my immediate right and Devon Smith. How you doing, fellas?
Doing good.
Doing good, man.
Good. So in this particular conversation, ladies and gentlemen, what we want to do is talk to them about a special experience that each of them had, and that was to live in what we called the Mac house. Though it wasn't actually a house, it was an apartment of sorts that we were fortunate to partner with Century Villages at Cabrillo to make an environment that was holistically supportive of young men in our community that weren't quite at a place where they could afford being out on their own, and help make that transition from living maybe under the roof of someone else's domicile to learning what it took in terms of skills, both life skills and job skills, to move out on their own and be successful. And I think you'll find the conversation interesting. So let's start with you, Denzel. And when we talk about skills, I've mentioned that. Tell, first of all, those who are watching, sort of a little bit about you and where you were before joining the MAC program.
Well, before I was at my mom's house. I used to live with my mom. I didn't have a job. I didn't have anything like really going for myself, but I was still in the process of understanding that I need a job, I need this and I need that. So I was just I went out job searching, and then I came across the YOC Youth Opportunity Center on Atlantic and Wardlow, and so they found me a job, and it ended up being in Kelly's Garden over here at LB Cap,
Right, right.
and it all took off from there.
And that was sort of your introduction to Long Beach Community Action Partnership as an agency.
Right, right.
And the Youth Opportunity Center, let's talk about that for a moment. Did you know about it, or did many of your friends know about it before you stumbled across it, or was it just something that just happened one day?
It was something that just happened. I didn't really know about it because it wasn't really pushed in my face like that. But
Right.
I've seen it here and there,
Right.
passing by. But I didn't know. I was just
Okay.
in my own zone.
Okay, so Dewan, how did you hear about the Men Making a Change program?
Well, I was actually a member of the LAMP program.
Right.
And so the LAMP program was here before MAC. So I was actually in the music program here. And then it was presented to me that, hey, they needed, it was a lack of youth leaders in Long Beach. And I felt like it was a good opportunity to expand, my creativity and learn more. And so with the LAMP program, if you're not familiar with the LAMP program, they have like music, they have video class, silk screenings, things like that. So from music, I went directly into video. And from video, it was Men Making a Change. So it just seemed right to do. It was the next step in my life.
Now let's stay with you for a minute, Dewan, because from talking about next steps, it was from the Men Making a Change program to the Men Making a Change house, as we called it.
Yeah.
And I know you guys learned a lot of things about shopping and, taking care of a household, et cetera. Tell us a little bit about what you learned in that regard.
Well, that was a pretty cool element added to MAC, because although we were doing, youth advocacy in the community, some of us were homeless, me being one of them. So the house being added was like, was icing on the cake. We get to be out in the community, active, and go somewhere, go somewhere to, rest your head, lay down. So, but the skills were, we had cooking classes, and they had different speakers every Sunday, motivational speakers, and that was a good element added to the house as well.
Okay. So Denzel, you went from mom going out and buying the groceries to maybe you having to think about buying the groceries and balancing the checkbook, et cetera. From that perspective, did you learn anything that you really keep with you to this day?
I learned how to go grocery shopping and, and save some money. It It was like how do you say, like, you make mistakes and then you learn from the mistakes.
Right, right.
I went grocery shopping, spent about like $100 and stuff, and it was like just for myself.
Yeah.
But it was just, I was like, nah, I don't need this, I don't need that, and start interchanging things, and then I started learning from that. And because I eat healthy, I'm pescatarian, so I don't eat meat, so I had to choose wisely, and I went to Fresh and Easy and Trader Joe's and stuff, and had to learn what they had and learn what I needed. So
things that I guess some people could take for granted. I mean, but when you're out there and you mentioned a place to rest your head, Devon, but you know, you had a place to rest your head possibly, but it just wasn't a safe place to rest your head. So when you're talking about a clean, safe place to rest your head where people genuinely cared about you, I would imagine that meant a lot to you guys, huh?
Yeah, just having that element of friends, you know, it was the first time I actually stayed with roommates, you know, and then he mentioned the shopping thing, you know, not only shopping for yourself, but, you know, shopping for others, you know, and really collabing meals together and just vibing out different conversations. You know, it was kind of like a college experience. If you've never been to a college dorm setting, it was kind of that experience, or a firehouse setting.
Gotcha. So I know that one of the experiences that you guys had was Sunday dinners. I know the last dinner that I was privileged to be there at the house with you was Thanksgiving, actually, when Kate from the Grammy Museum and her sister and husbands and boyfriends and whatever it was actually brought Thanksgiving dinner down, and we all sat at a long table, and I thought that was a cool experience. It reminded me of being back home, you know, in Alabama, where everybody just gathered and had a meal. But share with those who are watching your perspectives on the Sunday dinner, and then we'll go from that into how it helped you. So what was that experience like?
It was a dope experience. It was actually like people got together and came together and just shared, you know, share, whether it be food, whether it be life stories, whether it be jokes, interchanging, you know, jokes or whatever. It was dope. It was a good experience just to know more about people and how they are, you know, and interact.
Now you had, each Sunday it was a different guest speaker. So who were some of your favorite speakers that came to the house?
Some of my favorites were Coach Ty Buford. Yeah, he was
Long Beach Poly.
Right. Because he used to be one of my coaches in football. And so he was dope to reconnect with. I haven't seen him in a long time. So, and then Uduak Untuk, he was dope. Like I like everything, how he broke everything down to us. And
very smart man from the city, and he works on the oil islands out there in the ocean. That was pretty cool. I think I was actually there that Sunday that he came by. What about you, Devon? What was that dinner experience like for you?
The dinner experience, it was good to connect every Sunday, because, you know, throughout the week we're all busy. We're either going to school or, you know, searching for a job or working, or so to actually come together Sunday is just like, you know, it was a relief. You know, it was a family setting. Some of us really, you know, are not that close to their family, so it gives the opportunity to actually have a family and have a meal there provided for you to eat and to, you know, share stories and talk to different people. My favorite speaker was Damon Dunn and what was it, Chucky Miller? Chucky Miller. And James McDuffie, you know, and from that experience with James McDuffie, actually had a change of career, you know, based off that one conversation that he had with us.
So for those who don't know who Mr. McDuffie is, kind of share that story.
James McDuffie is an Anaheim firefighter. You know, he came out and was, you know, sharing his story and his struggles as a African American male, and you know, he just said, you know, this is an option. You know, you can actually be a firefighter if you know, put the work in. So he gave the instructions on how to do it, and I just took that advice and ran with it. I still keep in contact with him now. He's like kind of a mentor now.
Right. Let's talk about that mentor element, because I know that most, if not all, the speakers who came on Sundays were men of color that were coming from different professional backgrounds there to the house to talk to young men of color from different backgrounds, ethnic backgrounds. It wasn't just young black men there. You had Latino men there as
Yeah.
well, correct? And
Yeah.
maybe other denominations that I'm not aware of at the moment, or ethnicities rather. But what was that experience like, actually having an adult that you could reach out to like that and actually have that kind of conversation? Maybe it was something new, maybe it wasn't, but in that Mac House experience, what was that like to you?
It was a relief, honestly, because sometimes you didn't have those I would say mentors, you know, and especially male mentors.
Right.
You wouldn't have those figures to go up to and to speak to and to, you know, for them to help you out, because I feel like sometimes it's a gap in between like the youth and the elders, you know, sometimes. So the elders miscommunicate with the youth, and the youth miscommunicate with the elders. Sometimes it's like that, but when we were in the Mac House and all the mentors were coming through, it was like clear communication. It was them helping us out and us like letting them in on what we went through and them the same, you know.
So let me ask you this, and because all of a sudden the time is flying by and we're almost out of time, but real quickly, how necessary is a program like the Mac House, you think, for young men like yourselves? Fortunately for you, you both now are employed. You both now have kind of a greater focus in life about where you might want to go. But you know behind you are some young brothers coming up who aren't as clear. How important is a program like the Mac House? Quickly, what would you say, Denzel?
I would say it's very important for youth to be able to go through stuff like this, because it really helped me a lot. Like, it really helped me out a lot.
Okay.
So.
Dewan, what would you say?
I think it's very necessary. I think that you know, it gives you a chance to actually, it's a safe place to make a mistake. You know, as far as you know, learning about rent, learning about shopping, having that mentor element there. You know, I think it's very necessary. I think it helped me out a lot, and I think it would help other youth, other men of color, or any ethnicity out in the long term if they have that house or home and family environment.
So what's next? If you were to say the one thing that you take away from that Mac House experience 10 years from now when you look back on this, what would you say would be that one thing that comes to mind that you take away from this experience?
Basically saving up money, saving up time, you know, just investing time into something better instead of wasting time, you know, and saving up for rent, you know, keeping things in order, basically.
Being focused, yeah. What
Yeah,
would you say?
mine is like a brotherhood. I feel like, you know, it's I'm not from a frat, but this is the closest thing to a frat that I ever, you know, been involved with. So this is definitely a positive environment, and it's positive people that you can feed off of, different advice you can get. That's the best thing that I got from this program, is the good advice, the good times, the good moments, and knowing that we are moving forward. So, and we all, you know, keep each other accountable for us moving forward. So if I see him, you know, down, I lift him up, he lift me up, you know. So I think that's the best thing I took from Mac and the Mac House experience.
Thank you, gentlemen. I'm proud of you both. You know, I see you around, not as much as I used to, and that's a good news because that means you're out there doing your thing. And I know for you, Dewan, at one point, I think you were catching, 2 buses and a train to go to a midnight shift job just to get there, and then catch those 2 buses and a train to get back home. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, you have to do what you got to do, and
Right.
it's just I knew that's what I needed to do. It was a job, you know. So and
there you go.
just, you know, having that element there, you know, he always pushed us to be men, and I think this is just a part of being a man.
I don't think we could end on any better note. 2 young men that the city of Long Beach should be very proud to call their own. We've had Dewan Smith and Denzel Harris here telling you about their experience in the Men Making a Change House and the MAC program, which, as Dewan said, all started in the Leadership Academy Mentoring Program LAMP here at Long Beach Community Action Partnership. I'm Derek Simpson, Executive Director. Thank you for watching.